Going. It's Master Sunday. I hope you had a great nap that led into that. If you enjoy watching Augusta eat golfers up, you had to really enjoy that last stretch. A couple guys made push. So it was a great nap. Coupled with great. That's my favorite Masters tradition. Is the nap that I take on Sunday afternoon. Wake up to the finish. So that was a great day. Got to watch a great finish. Vol baseball gets a great series win. Would have loved to see the sweep, but it's okay. It's all right. Well, beggars can't be choosers, right?
Yeah, I mean, your goal is to win the series.
Exactly.
And a sweep would have been icing on the cake, but yeah, it just fell a little bit short today. But man, what a freaking team we got on our hands.
Oh, it's awesome. I can't wait to talk about it today. Of course, we're going to talk Vol baseball. We're also going to talk Tennessee Open practice. They held Saturday morning. Looked like I didn't get to go. Landon did go, so he's gonna bring us all the live stuff there. And he's also, but yeah, look, it's just nice to watch. Any chance you get to watch Tennessee football is a good one. Talk about some of the needs of this team, defense especially. Then we'll move to to baseball. Lindsey Nelson was rowdy, just like we expected. We talked about it on Wednesday. Can you imagine if they could have been at full capacity for this weekend?
Oh, I was talking about that today. I mean, it was beautiful outside, and you get to see Ole Miss, which I mean they got to be full capacity is what it looks like, and it just looks like such a great time. And I just hope Tennessee's able to get to that point this season, and so we can all enjoy this great season upon us.
Right. So you saw I mean, I know you're familiar with it before then, but you saw all those videos from Ole Miss today. That's what I want Tennessee's outfield to be like.
A berm? Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it's seating back there. But a berm for – I don't know. I was loving we'll get into this too. I was loving the Legends of Lindsey Nelson on the first base line. That finish, that ninth inning, was one of the most exciting ninth innings of baseball I've ever seen. With them just shirts off, waving them in the wind. It looked like fun.
Yeah, they had a funnel.
One
guy today, Tennessee didn't get the sweep, but he brought his broom in.
Nice.
I'm loving the fan base, man. They're just getting really creative and making the atmosphere just fun to be around.
Absolutely. We're also talking basketball, transfer portal. Tennessee's got some on their way out. Hopefully some on their way in soon. Also questions, drop them in the chat. We'll get those. If we don't answer them right away, they don't need to be questions. Just talk. We want to talk. Drop them in the chat. We'll get those. Landon's going to tell you guys about some of our sponsors while he's doing that. Tell us where you're listening from. Hideki Matsuyama, first Japanese golfer. Do we have any Japanese listeners from Japan, preferably? I think it's like 6 a.m. there right now.
Dang, so they were asleep when he won.
Or were they awake?
I don't know.
Do you not wake up? Do you not wake up to watch the Australian Open at 3 a.m. every year?
Sometimes I get the urge, but I don't think I've done it yet.
Okay.
I set my alarm. I just slept through it.
There you go.
Guys, go check out our sponsors, Hound Dogs, Tennessee Tap House, and Blue Water Climate Control. Here is here's a little word from Blue Water Climate Control. Check them out.
People always ask, where did we get the name Blue Water Climate Control? When a Navy ship casts off lines, exits the harbor, and loses sight of land, that's blue water sailing. It takes a team of people to do that. Tireless work, focus, and attention to detail. So much of starting a business is just like that. After it's done, you get filled with deep satisfaction for accomplishing something. And it's quickly followed by, now the real work begins. We're Blue Water Climate Control.
Balls are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! That is by Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Stand by for you, 6 men. made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, April 11th. It has been a good weekend in Knoxville, Tennessee. First off, open practice, football. I mean, I know it's not much, but for I don't think the media has seen Tennessee practice, up until well, 2 weeks ago. I don't think they'd seen them since August of 2018. I mean, it had been a while just due to the way everything kind of played out the last year. And, I'm sure since a lot of college football coaches think they're, the next Manhattan Project, they don't open their doors anyway. So I'm sure a lot of college football coaches enjoyed using the COVID excuse to keep reporters out. But just any chance Tennessee fans can get into Neyland, it shows they're going to show up. So just a good weekend to kind of have that happen. Weather ended up being nice. There was some chances of storms. I think there were some scattered ones there right as the practice ended, maybe. But just a great day, and then followed up. Well, Friday night, you have Vol baseball get it off to a great start with a win over Florida. Then they go into Saturday, kind of conclude some exciting times on campus. But I mean, we're going to start there with the football spring practice, open practice there in Neyland on Saturday. Let's do what was your favorite? Like what did you were like, man, I'm really glad we got to see that.
I think more of just having it open, just kind of giving, fans a little bit of excitement. I mean, Tennessee, I think I mentioned it last week, Tennessee needs all the positivity they can, bring up right now. Because, there's just not really anything to really build upon with the new staff and things like that. So any time that you can get some positivity, some excitement around the program, it's cool to see that. So that's probably my biggest takeaway. It's an open practice, and they're not going to show anything. And, some guys didn't even practice. Jabari Small, who's, probably going to be your star running back, didn't even practice. So, don't look too much into it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And not apart from it being a practice, it's a spring practice.
Right. Yeah, a lot can change in the fall.
It's just a lot. I mean, they're not, yeah, there's some install because it's a new coach, but a lot of it, they're still in the filling out process with the staff and players. Still getting to know each other a lot. And the players are still learning how to practice with Coach Heupel, because there's different expectations between each staff and each program and what they're trying to instill. So yeah, it's just a practice. I mean, that's the thing about it is it was never going to be like you're not going to watch a game. Right. And it's different for sure. But like you said, it's nice to be able to go out and see Tennessee on the football field.
Yeah. From an offensive standpoint, I think you have to be excited of what you saw. The quarterbacks were kind of up and down a little bit, but I think Harrison Bailey, it was kind of ironic. He's been kind of deemed the guy who's a statue in the pocket, but he had a rushing touchdown yesterday. So, I think he's the most poised in the pocket. But the athleticism, obviously Hooker and Brian Maurer have a lot more than he does in that category. So, I think it's going to be whoever can run the offense more efficiently is going to win this job. But there wasn't anybody yesterday I was like, no, he's out, or, he's going to be the starter.
Okay, well, with that, I'm going to make you pick one. But I don't, because like you said, you didn't get to see a whole lot, and it's very limited in what you didn't learn a whole lot yesterday. No. But what you did see, and you're just going, all right, this guy's, I'm going to go with, the most talented, probably gives us the best chance to win. Like you said, running an efficient offense, moving the ball, scoring. Who's your starting quarterback?
Just off yesterday?
If you want, you can use other opinions, but you did get to see them throw. You did get to see them in run offensive plays. So yeah, it's up to you in that sense. You did get to see them.
Man, that's tough because like if I'm going off some of last year and I'm going off poise and pocket presence and being able to efficiently run the offense, I think Harrison Bailey would be your starter. And I know the athleticism that's always going to come up, and if that is a huge focal point of your offense, yeah, then it probably isn't him. But I think if you're looking for the most talented guy as a quarterback, I think it's got to be Harrison Bailey.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's one thing you mentioned, like can you go off last year too? And I don't know, was Brian Maurer really, how injured was he? Was he injured? Mm-hmm. That situation. But it's hard to like unlearn something. Like what you saw out of him last year. The coaches, number one, they were just watching film. Like they're legitimately if they're looking back at your play to help make a decision, they're not going to unlearn that, and they're actually getting deeper into it than the old coaching staff probably would have in the sense of just watching it. Right. So that definitely maybe sets him back. But you also bring in a quarterback you mentioned like him. Hendon Hooker is different from Harrison Bailey, but very similar to Brian Maurer. So definitely that. And then Caden Salter. I'm not willing to a new staff. I think that benefits Caden Salter a little bit in the sense everyone's new to this coaching staff. So I mean, he's still in my head, still in the competition.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely his stock is hurt a little bit from he wasn't even recruited by these guys, so right. Like their first impression is like he has an incident in the dorm, so he didn't get off to a great start with this staff, so yeah, that probably puts him back a little bit, but
kept him on the team.
But Brian Maurer, I keep hearing he's going to be QB1, and I'm just like thinking about him playing 2 years ago, and I'm just like, we're going to lead the nation in turnovers. I mean, he's gonna have some plays where he's like, oh wow, that kid can play, and then he's gonna have some like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, and I think that again, if the staff's looking back on that, it's hard to unlearn things. So yeah, that's
he does look bigger. He does look a lot bigger.
Maybe helps him stay healthier.
I mean, we said that about JG too. So
yeah, I'm gonna move on from that comment. Did you see the Josh Palmer stat today though? We'll get into that. Later on because I've got that for the later in the episode. I do want to ask you about wide receivers too. I know we're gonna get into defensive needs here, and anything else you want to mention for offense, obviously, is free game. But wide receiver wise, we talked about our number one and number two. We both believe it's got to be Velus Jones Jr. and Jalen Hyatt, one or two. And then third, kind of a toss-up. You got a couple guys there that could probably fill the role fine, but we just don't know who that is. Were you like, all right, that guy now that he's getting – because with a lot of them we haven't seen play much.
Right.
So you got to see him run routes, catch balls. There's someone that you're like, I think he's going to be a really good wide receiver this year. Probably your number three.
Yeah, and some guys weren't going full go yesterday. So some of the guys I did – like Cedric Tillman impressed me. Quite a bit, and that's a guy who's been in the program, and he doesn't do anything like spectacular. He doesn't do anything like bad. He kind of like he made a catch in the end zone, and it reminded me of Josh Palmer a little bit, a guy that can just go up and get it. And I think that's a little bit different from Jalen Hyatt and Velus Jones, so maybe that is kind of what they're looking for.
Right.
If they're just wanting to go speed on the outside, then yeah, he's probably not your guy. But if they want somebody with a different skill set, I think Cedric Tillman would fit that need.
Okay, yeah, and we actually mentioned him last episode. So, which that is a guy that we've that Tennessee fans are familiar, pretty familiar with, and know.
I think Jimmy Callaway could also be one that.
Yeah.
He was impressive. I mean, dude can run.
Yeah, no, definitely fast.
I don't know like how, I think he's coming along as a all-around receiver instead of just like an athlete. But I mean, from what I saw yesterday, a dude can run. If you get the ball in his hands, I think he's going to be something to deal with. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I don't. You can touch on offense if I throw it over too early if you want any more. But defensive needs, I think. I mean, they're going to continue to be the biggest question this season. Even if your offense is scoring at a high rate, you need your defense to make plays if you're going to win ball games. And right now, it's not looking like this. I mean, this defense is going to have a very, very difficult time making plays. It's going to be difficult to find guys to play certain positions right now, linebacker especially.
Yeah, I think the switch, like from the previous coaching staff to this one, not that like this one is bad. I'm not saying that, but I think it hurts them because it was so. Apparently, Jeremy Pruitt's defense was so complex that like people just couldn't understand it. And then you go to this one where it's like simplified, but the offense that they're going up against every single day is, so intense that I think it makes them look a lot worse. So they just look kind of slower, I guess, which they looked like that last year. So, they were missing some guys. Amari Thomas didn't. I think Tyler Barron maybe didn't or was in didn't do like full contact. I thought Byron Young looked really good. Another guy that kind of flashed a little bit was Christian Charles in the defensive backfield. I think they could use some help back there,
right?
Especially like if he can catch a ball. I mean, holy crap! Kenneth George Jr. What is he? He led the nation in drop picks last year, right?
I remember at one time it was 4. It may have increased because my level of carrying drastically dropped off halfway through the season. So I forgot a lot of the back half of the season. I was there, like nobody was necessarily home, but I was there. It was definitely. Which I think your secondary is probably. I don't know if this is a good thing. It's probably going to be one of your strongest units on that defensive side. Now I think there's some talent there. I mean, and then there's some veterans that have played quite a bit. So I think that they could be a good unit. That doesn't necessarily bode well for the defense. Right.
Yeah, I think looking at them yesterday, I'm like any turnover opportunity they have to seize that moment because you can't have drop picks and expect them to get a ton of stops. Just looking off yesterday, which hopefully that's fixed and ready to go before we play Bowling Green. And is that in September or at the end of August?
September, I think.
Okay,
it could be. I guess it could be like the first week or last weekend in August, but usually it's on.
Yeah, but they got pushed around a little bit yesterday. I give credit to the offense, and I think there's more offensive talent than there is on the defensive side of the ball. So, Byron Young, Christian Charles kind of flashed a little bit. Alontae Taylor was going with the 2s. See, again, like, can you really say he's going with the 2s? I don't know. But
it's spring practice. That's important to remember. But that's still interesting that a veteran like that would be going with the 2s.
Right. A guy that's,
at any time.
A guy that's a leader like that.
And has played a lot.
Right.
Played a lot.
And would probably be like one of your better defensive players. Or at least you hope so.
Right. Troy Cochran, we'll go back to offense real quick before we get into more defensive needs. He mentioned QB is a problem too. I'll say this before we really get into defensive needs. I think quarterback is a question, but I think there's talent there that can win you ball games. Whereas defensively, I don't know where the talent's going to come from. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and kind of like every position, there's question marks, but there's talent there, except for linebacker. I don't know if there isn't a lot of. Morvan Joseph looked pretty good at linebacker, but I mean, Sloan Page is the other one, and he's a walk-on. So definitely defensive needs right now. If I'm just going off that, bodies at linebacker. You just need bodies.
Correct.
Wherever you are, just be there.
No, for sure, and that's the biggest defensive need. I mean, obviously, you're still you're looking for you're looking for a true pass rusher that can consistently put pressure on the quarterback and get some sacks. But that one it's kind of similar to quarterback. I think there's some talent there. It's just who's going to get it done is kind of the question. Linebacker's scary. Did you see the report today? Toto may be going to Ohio State.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's just
just go. I mean, what are you waiting on?
Well, then I think he's gone. I'll say that.
Right.
But I mean,
It's that he's kind of left it open a little bit too.
Right. The fact that it's taken so long to make the decision. First off, I will go on the record as I will accept him back with open arms.
100%.
Let's be clear about that. And I do understand. I wish he was at practice. If this was a question, I don't know. But how do you do that? But I get it. The guy that recruited you is gone. It hasn't been a very your time at Tennessee hadn't been super successful for the team. So,
yeah.
Someone mentioned we were 3-7 with him, but that doesn't mean that's why we were 3-7. We were also 3-7 with everybody on the team.
Yeah.
So
when your quarterback plays the way he does, you're gonna lose 7 games.
Toto is not the reason Tennessee went 3-7. I'm not even willing to say he's the reason Tennessee won 3 games, but
he did have a pick 6 against South Carolina.
He did, and it's true. But yeah, that's. I think a lot of people are saying that because a lot of people are like, and I get it's hanging around. They're like, good, just leave. We don't care. But I get it. I won't lie. I get it.
Yeah.
So,
but one thing I think Tennessee does lack is a true stud on defense.
Oh, yeah.
Like an all SEC player, I don't think they have one of those. Bryce Thompson, I think he was one, and I think Henry To'oTo'o is another one, and those 2 are gone. I don't think Tennessee has a really, I'll say an NFL talent player on defense. Maybe there is one, maybe one emerges this year, but from just looking at yesterday and maybe looking at the talent, I just don't really see one.
Right. That's I agree. Hopefully one emerges. Hopefully we see that. And we've got it from Troy and Double O on YouTube here. Just hope defense can stop the slant this year. If the defense can stop the slant, you're at least, you're giving yourself a fighting chance. Just don't
limit the route tree a little bit.
Don't let them take 5-yard slants for 30-plus yard touchdowns. Those are the ones that drive me nuts. Slants, there's a reason they're called a lot because they're successful. So I get it, but they shouldn't score touchdowns a lot. They shouldn't go for first down. First and 10 slants shouldn't be getting those consistently. So
if they're
contain them.
If they're catching the ball and they're getting tackled as soon as they're catching the ball, one, they're probably getting rocked.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna, that next slant isn't gonna be that cut isn't gonna be as hard.
Right.
The next time. So you make them think a little bit if you're hitting them as soon as they catch the football. But Tennessee just didn't do any of that last year.
No. And hey, I didn't want to mention Bryce Thompson. I hate to dwell on the past staff a lot, but hopefully this staff can kind of. You mentioned those all SEC guys. Hopefully they find places where they can be all SEC guys, because I don't know if Bryce Thompson, and I know there was just some need on the team, you had to move him around, but I don't know if he was put into positions where he was an all SEC guy. He played safety a little bit, and I just don't know if I think the only place he's probably an all SEC guy is at corner.
Yeah, you had a lot of turnover. Jeremy Pruitt was the coach, but he had a ton of turnover. None of those guys have really had Jeremy Pruitt was coaching corners, and then Derek Ansley was coaching corners, and then Terry Fair, and then Jeremy Pruitt was coaching them again, and then he went to defensive line with, when he fired Brumbaugh at halftime at Kentucky or whatever. So, I don't know if they got consistent coaching. So maybe, that's a challenge for the staff. Just try to have some stability
right
within that program. It's tough. I get it. The SEC, it's tough to have stability because if you do a really great job, you're probably moving up.
Yeah.
You do a bad job, you're getting fired. So,
but that's also culture too. If you have guys that yes, you are. I think there's a natural attrition to it where you're gonna lose if you're really good. You're gonna lose guys. But if you have a really, really good program that you're winning and you're compensating them good enough, there's gonna be people that want to stay. They're not leaving at their first chance to go.
Yeah, and I got to talk to Mike Eckler a little bit at the baseball game today, and he just this staff seems excited to be here, and not that Jeremy Pruitt's wasn't, but it seems like maybe some of those guys were just waiting for their next step.
Well, and regardless, even if Jeremy Pruitt was or wasn't, like, it's good that there's a staff that guys want to be here.
Yeah, he was like, I was like, hey, what do you? It was him and the director of player personnel, and they're like, I was like, how are you guys liking Knoxville? They're like, he's like, I love it. He's
Well,
like,
Eckler was the one that said he wanted a boat to work, right?
yeah. He was like, man, he's like, it's the most unique place I've ever been to. He's like, there's so much water, and then you got the Smoky Mountains. He was like, man, it's awesome. I'm like, that makes me feel good.
That makes me feel good, but I don't know if he's been a lot of places then.
I mean, maybe not.
You got hills and water? I don't have this shit in Florida. He wasn't in Florida. Where was he at? I can't remember now. Dang.
He was at Nebraska at one point.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, Knoxville's very unique compared to Lincoln, I would imagine. I've actually never been to – have I been to Nebraska? I've not been to Nebraska. I wouldn't care.
He was at North Texas. That's where he was at.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, I get that. He has coached. He has a long resume, so he has coached a lot of places. So maybe he has been. I mean, I don't know.
And he's another guy kind of on Twitter that is trying to just like create some excitement within the program.
Yeah, it helps that his chili's always hot.
Exactly. He would have loved the chili dog at the game, but they didn't have chili for him. They
didn't have chili, but dude, I saw that picture he posted. That dog looked good.
You had a dog today.
I had a dog today. Didn't work. I had a dog today. So, yeah, that was all right. You got me all depressed. So I'm gonna go ahead and move us on to Tennessee baseball. Tony Vitello and crew bring in attitude to Florida this weekend.
Oh man, today was.
I heard it got chippy. I didn't get to see. There were no videos of the exchange. I was pretty disappointed.
So the umpire, the home plate umpire, he had a rough day today. He wasn't on his game today. Let's check out his name, Jason Bradley. Jason Bradley, you suck. I'll just go ahead and say that right now. So like Jordan Beck was like in the batter's box and like getting ready to bat, and the pitcher just like winds up and throws a pitch, and the umpire like didn't. He like watched him do it. He wasn't even ready. He just watched him do it, didn't call time or anything. And Tony Vitello's like, dude, he literally says, what the F? He's like, you're going to get somebody hurt.
Was he in the batter's box?
He was like stepping into the batter's box.
Okay.
And as soon as he saw him take 1 foot in, he was just like,
okay.
And Tony Vitello just let that umpire have it. And the umpire was like, what?
He didn't get ejected though, did he?
No, he didn't.
I didn't think so.
And then there was another call where it was a check swing. And, of course, after Vitello did that, and that umpire was just ready to He said he went. And then he went out to almost third base to where this umpire was. Who's the third base dugout? That doesn't say. Oh, yeah, Morris Hodges. Morris Hodges, you had a rough day too. And,
Tony Vitello took it to all the umps had a bad day, huh?
Yeah, he let him have it, and then as he was walking back to the dugout, he let the home plate umpire have it again.
I heard people tweeted about it, but the video I was looking for was apparently Vitello and I don't remember which Florida pitcher it was today. We're chirping each other.
Yeah, so somebody did tell him to shut the F up in the dugout. I'm right behind the third base dugout, so I couldn't see exactly who it was. But yeah, there was some, which is fine.
Yeah, that's why we like college baseball so much.
Yeah, there's a war going on. It's a weekend. Y'all are tired of seeing each other. I get it.
Exactly. I mean, and it makes it more fun. And before we get really like into the games, and I know we want to talk about Friday and Saturday, especially with that. Just a really exciting finish. But like I mentioned, the environment pre-show and Lindsey Nelson without the upgrades, Tony Vitello is going to turn Lindsey Nelson into a place away teams don't want to go. I mean, if Florida can, I'm sure they'll say it along because you want to take a jab at your rivals and the schools you hate, and I'm sure they'll make a joke about how Lindsey, the fans at Lindsey Nelson didn't do anything to him. A bunch of it's probably just a bunch of frat boys just talking crap. Who cares? You were chirping back at them. They were in your head. They got in. Into
the first base coach had some words for them.
Yeah, if you're responding to fans, the fans got you right where they want you.
Mm-hmm.
So the environment that's getting created, it's hostile. You love that. You want it to be hostile. Like, it's called home field advantage for a reason. We're not welcoming you. We're not freaking Texas A&M in here welcoming in and offering you a free meal. Like, you're gonna come in. If you're gonna win, you're gonna freaking earn it.
Yeah. And Tennessee's kind of made teams earn it on the diamond, and I love that we have the atmosphere that we do. It's kind of playing into that as well, because it's Vitello's created this energy, and it's it's kind of been grabbed on by everybody else. Everybody
it's unique.
Else
like how he's done it's very unique. He's not, and nothing wrong with the way Bruce Pearl did it. I think he was genuine, and I think he did obviously did a great job. But Vitello's not going to the cafeteria, standing on tables, handing out free pizza, begging people to come to games. He's just like, we're gonna win. We're gonna be killers, and killers are gonna come hang out with us. That's pretty much been it.
Yeah, they're not going to be bullied anymore in the SEC. They're here to stay, and it's good to see like guys like Mike Eckler and that other coach stayed for the whole 9 innings. And when I've been there, I've probably been going to games for a while, but like consistently probably the last 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. And usually coaches would stop by and then they'd be gone. In 3 or 4 innings they'd be gone. Well, the other night, Friday night, Rick Barnes and new assistant coach Rod Clark stayed for all 9 innings.
Yep.
So that's awesome to see that they've created that atmosphere and that energy around the program where, even coaches that don't even coach in the sport, I'm sure they have a ton of stuff that they need to do. Rod Clark almost got a foul ball while he was on the phone with somebody, probably recruiting or, hopefully getting a big guy. That'd be nice. But the fact that they're, dropping their time to come watch this team play, I think is, reassuring for the entire athletic program, not just the baseball program.
Right. And that, it's going to be cool too. If I hope this can, because Tennessee football fans can obviously be great, and they just haven't, us fans have just not had the chance to really show it. And so I kind of hope some of this energy feeds over into the fans in other sports. Because, obviously there's a crossover. But I think it's a lot. I do. I think we talked about it with this team. This team's kind of taken over the personality of Tony Vitello. And I think that's what the fans have done too. Like, it's almost like Tony Vitello is not telling them to do it, but it's like he's approving of it. So we're going after it. Like,
right.
We know he wants it, so we're doing it. And so if that carries over into basketball, like Thompson Boyne Arena can hold way too many people for how quiet that thing can be. So it needs to carry over. And two, a lot of like football programs and basketball programs, they try to make it happen. They try to force it. It's got to happen. If you want people to do it and do it right and buy in, it's got to come natural. Mm-hmm. Like having the way, and it takes students who care. And get people there. The line for the students on Saturday night was freaking awesome. Yeah, there can't be a lot of that in college baseball.
I think Saturday it was Friday like 4:00. It was lined up like that.
Yeah, and so
that didn't start till 6:30.
Yeah, it needs to happen organically, and it's happened organically, and it's awesome. It's gonna make more fans want to come.
Ben McKee had a great tweet today. He said that Tony Vitello is if Vol Twitter was a person.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. We're just waiting for, a team to really just bring us all back together, and here this baseball program comes out of nowhere and, we're all bought in. We were talking about it. Media outlets didn't even cover baseball until like this year.
Right.
Fans didn't even really talk about it until this year, until you're good. So, if you put a good product, fans are going to latch onto that and hang on to it and support you and keep supporting you.
There's another thing I think that's kind of it helped a little bit, and this is going to sound weird, I'm sure, but last year, the season, getting canceled when Tennessee was starting to heat up. I think the anticipation of that, and it helped. I mean, you got to win at the end of the day. You got to go win games. So like if the Tennessee team doesn't start off with 4 SEC series wins, it never happens. But everyone kind of like, man, they really have a chance, because they finished going to that regional in 2019, 2020. This team should be better. You have Garrett Crochet. I mean, like, and that anticipation, I think, had people for a year talking about, I cannot wait for Vol baseball. And now they just, I mean, they took it and ran. Tony Vitello and his team took it and ran. And like you said, they're here to stay. I think they're here to stay.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this huge win against Florida. God, getting a win over the Trash Lizards. I love it, baby.
Trash Lizards.
Trash Lizards. It put us, so now we're 9-3 in the conference. So we're tied for first in the East, and also tied a 3-way tie with Arkansas and Vanderbilt for the top overall team in the conference right now. So, I think next weekend, I don't want to get too far into it because I want to spend some time celebrating this win. But next weekend is going to be electric because Vanderbilt's coming off a series loss to Georgia, and it's now becoming a rivalry between these two teams. It's the last 10, 15 years or so, it's kind of all been Vanderbilt. But now it's, Tennessee has solidified themselves atop of the SEC. And, is Vanderbilt exposed a little bit?
Yeah.
Or are those pitchers just so good that you're going to get everybody, everybody's focused in, everybody's dialed in to, try to knock you off. And, I think Vanderbilt, maybe with those two guys and all those draft boards of Leiter and Rocker going 2 and 3 or 1 and 2, whatever, I think it could put a little target on their back. So hopefully Tennessee brings their arrows and, hits the bullseye.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun week. I mean, this Florida, again, it's all just kind of snowballing. Come off that Florida win, you welcome Vanderbilt, who, it's an in-state conference rival. I mean, you're gonna want to bring everything you got. And I know, Tennessee's got to play Western Carolina on Tuesday first, so you do get that game. But this next weekend, I'm glad it's in Knoxville. That's going to make it fun.
Yeah, so Tennessee's won their first 4 series in conference play for the first time since 1970. For those of you that are bad at math, that's 51 years.
That's crazy. That's 51 years. I wouldn't have guessed that. It just doesn't feel, it doesn't feel like that long. Because like I don't know about you, but I'm this way with my age. Like when I turned 21, I've just been 21 for several years. Like people are like, how old are you? I'm 21. No, I'm not 21 anymore. I'm much older now. It's like it's been 2010 for me for a while. I'm like, can I do math? I'm like 1970. Oh, or 2000, I should say. I guess I'm like, oh, that's 30 years ago. That's not long ago. No, it's 51 years.
You're right. Yeah, somebody asked me how old my mom was the other day. I was like, oh,
don't answer that. Don't answer that live.
I was like 30, probably 40 something.
Nice.
And I was like, she just turned 50. So I was like,
you're gonna be in trouble, dude.
Nifty. Tanya's 50, baby.
I tried to keep you away from that, but yeah, you might get in trouble.
Oh, there's no way she listens to this, so it's all good.
She's gonna overhear your dad listening to it. That's what's gonna happen.
She might, yeah. She might. I might get a phone call at work tomorrow.
I hope she calls you. I hope she calls you right now. I hope your dad's listening right now.
I probably won't answer my phone, so she'll call my work phone because I have to answer it.
Smart. That's actually really smart of her.
Yeah.
Intuitive. Very intuitive. So this Florida series. Let's run it down.
You get it started off Friday night. Chad Dallas just freaking shoved it. 11 strikeouts.
Which is awesome that his nickname is Cheese because you get queso with the 10 strikeouts. It's perfect.
Yeah, he did it himself.
Yeah.
And he's from Texas, and I think most of his family was here to see him pitch. They're all wearing the cheese hats.
Like the Green Bay ones?
No, they're actually a little like they were rounded at the top. They look like a hard hat, but it was like cheese.
Can we get some?
I would dig it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
That can be the new rally cap or
Yeah, exactly.
or the victory cap. We need a new one.
That would be a good victory cap.
Speaking of that, I'm retired in the victory cap. It's done.
Wow.
We need a new one.
We need a new one?
We need a new one.
Okay.
We thought we were going to wear it out with basketball, and it didn't happen. So we need something
Okay.
else.
All right. So drop your suggestions. It can be bought. It can be made. Drop them. We need a new Vol baseball victory cap.
Yeah, let's get a little creative here. But yeah, Chad Dallas just shoved it. He's 5-0 on the season. 7 innings pitched, gave up 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 11 strikeouts. Sean Humley came in, and he shoved it too. He had a strikeout in 2 innings, no hits, no earned runs. Evan Russell had a great day. He was 3 for 4, 4 RBIs, or 3 for 4, 3 RBIs and a home run. And that home run was huge in the 8th, just giving Tennessee a little bit of kind of breathing room against a Florida team who hit 6 home runs on the weekend. They're a team that can absolutely crush it. That one that pitch runner hit today was, oh my God.
That was a bomb.
Yeah. I was like, well, that sucks.
That's one of those that you're like, that might have gotten to the river.
Yeah, I mean it was a backbreaker because Tennessee's up 2, and then he hits a 3-run shot, and it was no doubter that kind of took the air out of Tennessee a little bit, I think.
And on your guy that when he came onto the mound up 2, you're like, all right, this is the sweep.
Right.
Let's get it over. Sean Humley comes up, so like you said, kind of just a backbreaker. Took every kind of ounce of energy out of him.
And then yesterday, Tennessee didn't play great except for 1 inning, and they closed it out, defensively, but
Right.
hitting wise, they had 1 inning where they got things done, and that was the 6th inning. They scored 5 runs, they walked 4 in a row, and then Tennessee got some timely hits with 2 outs to take over.
And
I think it started off with it was Gilbert actually got hit it. They walked a runner in, and then he hit into a double play, which scored another run.
Mm-hmm.
And then Beck singled, and then Lipsius doubled, and then Pavoloni singled to put Tennessee ahead by 2. And then they did get 1 back, but dude, Kirby Connell had me fired up last night.
He was throwing some filthy stuff.
Dude, I'm calling him Captain Hook. That's his new nickname. And it could be 2 things. It could be his mustache.
The stash rocks. The stash is all time.
Or just, the nasty hook that he was throwing last night.
Yeah.
Had the batters guessing, and it was just electric, man. Like I said, Tennessee didn't play well. They had 1 hit going into the 6th inning, and they ended up with 4 hits in the game and won the game 5-4.
And that's a big positive of things we've talked about for this team. Like, how are they going to, how are you going to beat the Floridas, the Vanderbilts, those teams? They've got to, when they have runners in scoring position, they've got to bring them in. And yes, you didn't play good, but you capitalized on the moments that were, pretty much given to you.
Yeah.
So to be able to get those runs in, that's an improvement from where Tennessee's kind of been early on in the season.
Yeah, I mean they just grind out wins, and when you're in this conference with so much talent, there's going to be games where you just have to do that, and good teams have to know how to win. I think that's been kind of Tennessee's issue for when Vitello first took over. Those teams didn't know how to win in close games. They figured it out over time, and now they're getting to the point where it's a close game. Tennessee's got the advantage.
Right.
They're used to close games. They're used to, they don't have the power that LSU or Florida does, but they have athleticism, speed. They don't walk a lot of people. They get pitchers in a lot of deep counts and draw walks. So they make it tough on opposing teams. And that's what happened on Saturday night, and you got that win. And I'm glad the rain held off.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to go on Saturday, but I did watch it. And, man, that atmosphere looked electric. I'm glad people got to see that, and got to live that atmosphere for Saturday night.
Yep. Hopefully we're getting back to 100% capacity, maybe by the regional. If Tennessee gets to host, something like that. And then also hopefully some renovations are completed. You're right. That stadium is going to look a lot better if they can just get some bleachers down the third base line. Golly, I can't speak today. It's going to look a lot better because the first base line looks great. That part of the stadium looks great.
You just need to make the whole thing. It needs to be a stadium, not just a baseball field with
some stands,
concrete stands. Yeah. You need a full enclosed arena almost.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think you need bleachers in the outfield. I'm again big berm guy, but you need seating of some kind. You need people to be able to go back there.
Yeah, like a berm, just like standing room only. People just can go nuts and kids can run around, eat grass, do whatever they do.
All right, Les Miles. What's the porch like? Wait, do you got? Is it like Ice Bears games? You got those luxury boxes down there. People are pounding on the glass, talking trash. Is it that environment, or is it more family friendly?
I think it's some of both. Yeah, I mean, it depends on who's out there. There's been some times where it's been kind of rowdy, and there's been times where, people are just grilling burgers and not just socializing, kind of like you do it like at the Smokies game.
Right. Yeah, we need some. You got to chirp the left fielder. You got to chirp the left fielder when given the opportunity. Got to get in his head. But yeah, I'm with you. You need to let's get that stadium improved. The next time Tennessee's at 100% capacity, have it to where you can get a lot in there, because I think there's going to be a lot in there.
Yeah, so some guys that really stood out to me this weekend. I thought Evan Russell played really well. I mentioned he had a really good game on Friday. Had another double today where he did a little twerk when he got to second base.
Little Tina from Bob's Burgers, actually.
Yeah. Got it going. And he hosed the guy from left field. Yeah. Also, another guy who didn't have a good day is Florida's third base coach. Wow, he sucks. I mean, he sent the runner. He was where our third baseman plays in the field, and Evan Russell had the ball like in his glove already.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, interesting choice to send him. Not that it was still a great play, but interesting choice to send the runner there.
Yeah, I was like, if it's a freshman or somebody that you're just like, I don't. But a guy who's played this long in the SEC, no, you don't test him like that. Dumb on your part.
Right.
But I thought Evan Russell had a really good series. It was good to see Max Ferguson and Connor Pavoloni really get going some this weekend. Pavoloni had a hit last night. I mentioned that was huge. And then, he had a freaking bomb today.
Yeah, his ball went too today.
And those are two preseason All-Americans that you would love to get going. So if they're gaining some confidence, I think that's going to be huge for this program down the stretch.
Yeah, you were actually last episode, I think, maybe last Sunday, you were talking about really because Pavoloni is one of those guys in the bottom of the lineup that's just not quite produced like Tennessee's going to need soon. Mm-hmm. So to see him, I was going to mention that too. Like I know it may get kind of lost in the loss today. That Pavoloni was able to get that home run, maybe get some going.
Yeah, I think that like you said, that's going to be huge for this team because you have so many guys that are capable of, getting hits. Liam Spence, continues to get on base. That's all he does is just get on base. I think he had 3 walks today. He's hitting well. I think they've gotten a big boost from Logan Sintra in that 9-hole spot. Where Spence has been injured. He's DHing, and Stinger's kind of taking over the shortstop role and batting 9th. Gilbert and Beck. Gilbert didn't have a great series, but when a guy, struggling a little bit in a series, if you have guys that are able to step up and pick up the slack a little bit, I think that's what makes a great team.
Right. Yeah. This team definitely kind of has some hot spots all over it. Like you said, it helps a ton. It's going to help in these really tough series. You've had obviously several already, and you have Florida, LSU, Alabama. It should help next weekend against Vanderbilt. Again, I talked about it after that win against Alabama, how it's like, man, you get these big wins and you kind of feel some relief, and now you get to go play Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, like it's never ending, and the
No.
fact that you are where you're at is I mean, it's a blessing. Not saying it's luck,
Right.
but this is where you want to be at this far in the season because you've set yourself up to where you don't have like these series on the stretch. Like you don't have to sweep a team to like find yourself in the postseason. You don't have to necessarily like have to win a series to
Right.
get into the postseason. Obviously, you want to, but they're not must wins down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just, talking about getting to the SEC tournament. You don't go to the SEC tournament, win or go home, and you're legit win or go home because you don't know if you'll be in a regional.
Right.
So it takes some pressure off of you going into the postseason for SEC tournament, but also for the NCAA and Tennessee's already 9-3. You mentioned first time winning four since 1971. Is that correct? 1970.
Yep. 1970.
1970, and you've got 6 SEC series left, and you put yourself in a really good position to have an SEC winning record. And obviously, it's still ways to go, but you're like you said, you're setting yourself up in better positions. It's one of those things. I'm sure Vitello is talking about controlling what you can control. You don't want to be in those situations where you're fighting to stay alive late in the season when you shouldn't really be having to. So control what you can control. Get yourself in positions there where you don't have to hope other teams underperform to get you somewhere. You just show up and play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really good series. I thought the pitching was pretty well. They kind of hit Heflin a little bit yesterday, and Sean Huntley came in today, and they just I think he gave up a single, a double, and a 3-run home run. I mean, it was just bad luck a little bit because he's pitched well against everybody, and today he even pitched well when he played Arkansas on Friday, and today just didn't have it or they're on top of it, and you didn't get the sweep, but hey, you got the series win, and next week's going to be huge because it probably is going to be a top 5 matchup.
Top 5 matchup, and could potentially get you to, depending on how it falls this week. Arkansas or Ole Miss will probably be number 1 with Vanderbilt.
Arkansas will be number 1.
Arkansas ended up beating Ole Miss. Okay. But if you go out and beat Vanderbilt, depending on what Arkansas does next week, this could be a game that gets you to number 1 ranking. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm interested to see what the rankings look like. Like how far are they going to drop Ole Miss, and how far is Vanderbilt going to drop? Because we could potentially be number 2 next week.
Could be. And I think there's so many polls. I'll say this: I think Tennessee ends up at number 2 in a poll. Whether depending on which one that is, I don't know. But I think they get to number 2 in one of the polls, and kind of to piggyback that same point, I think it's a top 5 matchup depending on what poll you look at. I think Vanderbilt series is going to be a top 5 matchup in some poll.
Right. Yeah. I think Tennessee is going to be a consensus top 5 team next week.
Game versus Western Carolina on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's away. That's kind of weird, but I'm getting some road experience for guys who aren't really getting those, that time in the SEC to really work on things. So going on the road, I think that's good for them.
That and I think it's just weird scheduling. They did travel to Austin Peay earlier this year, so I think there's a little bit more weekday traveling for them. They played Western Carolina last week. Western Carolina came to Lindsey Nelson. Or was that 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. So
we played Western Carolina?
Yes, March 30th, between the LSU and Alabama.
Right,
and they came to Neyland, Lindsey Nelson. So
I always want to say that too. I always want to say Neyland.
Yeah. Maybe it's going to surpass it one day. Maybe we'll be calling Neyland Lindsey Nelson.
Maybe
the trajectory the 2 programs are on, it's going to take a few years, but maybe not long.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully, golly,
we're gonna get a 102-455 over there at Lindsey Nelson at some point in time.
Let's do it. This Friday and Saturday. Can you think about if I would love this, even not being a big baseball fan. Now I'm a very big Tennessee fan, and then I enjoy baseball, so that combination. Can you imagine what a tailgating weekend would be like for a home SEC series.
Yeah, I eventually want to start like tailgating.
I'm getting
for
the
these
camper.
games.
We're getting the camper if that happens.
Because
We're just- we're
there's some
staying
like
in.
older guys doing it, and the Legends of Lindsey Nelson I think hosts one too. I just think that's if Tennessee can figure it, like maybe get a better venue because it's just like a parking lot. Maybe if they can get like a better, I don't know. It's not a bad place to have it. You just don't see a lot of it.
Where at?
Like tailgating, like over there, behind the frat row.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is there's really not a ton of great like parking lots to do tailgating. So you need to build a parking lot if that's, or you just have people walking from far away like football games. But there's parking lots next to the stadium that are good for it. But yeah, I'm all for getting a camper out there for bringing it in Friday night and not leave until Sunday afternoon, like a race weekend.
Ooh,
yeah,
that'd be fun.
I'm all about it. It'd be a lot of fun.
Can you do that?
See, that's the thing is you'd probably have to go to like a different, like a lot at Tennessee that would allow allow a camper. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you could do that. Yeah. See, we need because it's across that rail yard from the softball or not softball. Well, yes, softball, soccer, and volleyball facility. And that is, a bunch of people bring their campers down there for football season. That's where a lot of campers are at.
Man, it's crazy that we're talking about like us wanting to stay for a whole weekend and watch a Tennessee team play because, I mean, when have we ever thought that was going to happen before?
Right. Listen, guys, if anybody's giving away a ticket, I'm going to play it. My birthday's this week. I'd like to go to the Vanderbilt game on Friday night. So,
okay.
If anybody, I'm just throwing it out there. Or maybe cut me a deal. I get it. You want to make money, I don't blame you.
I'll see what I can do.
All right, Landon's got some magic to him.
I'm a string guy. I like pulling them.
Now, the thing that would suck is I'm not getting to Knoxville until right at 7 p.m., but I can be there first pitch. It's just there won't be any gating. I won't be gating my tail off or anything Friday night, but
okay. I'll make it happen.
Me and Landon are going to talk. We might do something this weekend, actually.
Okay.
Let's talk after this.
All right.
I got some thoughts. No real ideas yet, but I got some thoughts. All right, let's talk some fall basketball, transfer portal. Yeah, and then we'll get after this episode. By Wednesday, maybe we'll have an actual plan for you guys.
Ooh, one thing before we move on, don't forget your baseball shirt. Tonight is the last night, and it's over.
Yeah, I saw some Twitter DMs. So, guys, last night.
Yep.
There you go. All right, fall basketball real quick. Transfer portal, it is not necessarily working in Tennessee's favor right now, but also usually you see the guys leave before people come in. So that's how it works, guys.
Yeah, I mean, none were huge losses. EJ Anosike and Corey Walker both didn't have really much of an – I mean, Corey Walker didn't have an impact at all besides at practice.
Yeah, and I want to talk about Corey Walker too, kind of more than EJ Anosike because – I think the Corey Walker one's weird to me. Comes in here, pretty highly rated player. Very, very similar situation to DJ Burns. And I'm in the boat of I think both Tennessee could have benefited from both DJ Burns and Corey Walker playing. Now I'm not at practice every day, so I don't know the thoughts, but the guys in front of them weren't just dominating. So it shocked me that neither of them played. But you see Rick Barnes plays freshman. He played Josiah Jordan-James. Josiah Jordan-James started as a freshman. He played 2 freshman guards. So is it like a lot of people are just like Rick Barnes is stubborn and won't play? Like that's not the case. So I don't know what it is. Again, I would like to reiterate my point of I feel like because of the people in front of them, Tennessee could have benefited from both of them playing. So I'm not just like all hell Rick Barnes. He's right. There's questions to it. I just don't understand why they're not playing.
Yeah, I know Corey Walker was hurt to begin the season, and that put him really far behind. Obviously, really far behind because we never saw him.
Right.
So I mean, that's kind of all I know. But the fact, like you brought up a good point. The people in front of him weren't dominating, so the fact that he didn't see any playing time maybe tells you that he just couldn't make it in the program, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if he's getting whooped by those guys every day and in practice.
And it'll show like where he ends up because and it's tough for him because like a Power 5 program, like you don't have any experience. So all you have is your 4-star rating, but you don't have any kind of film or any kind of college tape where they can be like, yeah, he could play here.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. I feel like that's maybe where he ends up is kind of telling of what maybe where he's at from a basketball standpoint.
Right. Right. Yeah, DJ Burns ends up at Winthrop, so kind of again telling, but he had a good year at Winthrop, and also
I think his was maturity. So he had to go back home to Rock Hill, South Carolina.
I think there was some non-basketball related issues, but not. I don't think. I think if he had really wanted to stay at Tennessee, I don't think that was beyond the realm of possibility. Like I think he could have, from the things that were.
Yeah, I don't think it was. He couldn't play here.
Yeah,
like he would never play like that. That wasn't why he left.
Right. Christopher Nichols said even though he's been highlighting the inside game, he wonders if Barnes is shifting to a guard heavy, I assume, style. You saw that with the way they went out and recruited the last 2 years, really. Really looking to find good guards, and then Rick Barnes mentions it in his last press conference this year that they need a big guy. They lacked that the last 2 years, really, really the last since Rick Barnes has been here. I'm not willing to say you got lucky. Grant Williams was a special player, but he wasn't a true big man. Like he wasn't.
He was a bruiser, but he wasn't a guy that you're going to put on a 7-footer. And
yeah, and then you did get some good play late in 2019 from or 18, 19, whatever, from Kyle Alexander. Which you benefited from that. That's the last big man you've had, and he didn't come along until late in that 19 season. I think Tennessee needs to find a guy that can rebound consistently and can be an inside presence. I think that was the thing with this year is like you just needed a guy that people had to respect inside, and you didn't have that.
Yeah, hopefully they can find somebody. Going guard heavy, I think. Yeah, you want to have good guards, and you want to be lengthy, and because that helps rebounding and defending and stuff like that. But you also have if a guy has a Azubuike, you want somebody. You don't want a 6'6" guard on him. You want to be able to counter that with somebody. So yeah, Tennessee's gonna have to add some size. It stinks that you're probably losing some, and then
right.
Guys behind them are leaving too. But I think, if Tennessee doesn't – I'm okay with it until if Tennessee doesn't sign a big man, then I'm going to be like, what the hell are we doing?
Like you know what you needed in this, and you didn't go get him. So I'm going to ask you because you mentioned we threw out a name the last time we talked transfers, and Justin Powell, and a couple of days later he signed. Or committed to Tennessee. Who do you got for me now in the transfer portal? Big man. You can throw some guards out there if you think, because Tennessee's got some spots to fill. But big men.
So somebody mentioned today that maybe Garrison Brooks would be one from North Carolina. We mentioned Walker Kessler, but Garrison Brooks he's been UNC's best player for 2 years. Rebounding and getting points. He averages like a double-double. And, I think that could set up perfectly because, Rick Barnes runs a similar program to like Roy Williams. They like they'll take one and dones, but they also want to have, those 4-year guys that they're able to kind of set that foundation with. And then, I think that's a guy like Garrison Brooks. So I don't know, like what is somebody told me today that, maybe Alabama's a lean. They've heard that, some is from his AAU coach or something like that. But, I think Walker Kessler, Garrison Brooks, Gonzaga's big man entered the transfer portal. I think he played 24 games with them. He was pretty good. Somebody, even if it's somebody who's not in the transfer portal yet, I think you have to add dare say, dominant big man.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. And yeah, I mean, because even though East Pond's you're losing some of your best mid-range game too in East Pond. So
Justin Powell, so Tennessee's new transfer, Justin Powell is really good friends with Walker Kessler. So
okay,
just throwing it out there.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Okay, well,
so dude, I looked at this today, and this kind of pisses me off. EJ Anasicki's field goal percentage was 34%.
EJ Anasicki's?
Yeah.
How many times did he shoot though?
38. But let's think about it a little bit.
No, yeah.
Where did he get the ball at?
Right.
You shot 34%?
Yeah. I mean, we know he had a lot of questionable shots.
Yeah, I mean
like,
that was, we were talking like he could end up being a starter on this team before the season. And
I thought he would be a defensive. Where I didn't think he'd be a scorer for Tennessee. I thought he would be able to move people around, create some havoc on defense, and he wasn't able to do those two things mixed with not being able to score. So,
yeah, it just looked like that jump from Sacred Heart to Tennessee was a little bit too big of a skill.
Yeah, and I hate it for him because I probably came at a bad year where you don't get to be with the team as often early on, and sometimes things just don't align, and it sucks. So,
yep.
But best of luck to him too. I'm excited for Devontae Gaines going to UNC Asheville. I think that could be a really good spot for him. There's a couple of is Pember UNC Asheville. Devontae Gaines is going to George Mason.
Yeah, with Cam English. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry though, but yes, I think both of those could be good moves. I think both of them are mid-major guys. Or UNC Asheville in mid-major, but low-level Division I guys. I think they're Division I, no doubt, but there's not. Could they have found a right fit at a higher level? Maybe, but I think they're mostly a little bit lower. I think they'll both play and help those teams out.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think their skill set kind of fits more with George Mason, UNC Asheville. I think if they're not a starter, they can carve out a really good role.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, if they're going to go to another Power 5, it would have to be the right fit. And still, I don't see their production being a ton
right
at a Power 5 level.
And if anybody was going to do it, I think at another Power 5 school, it would have been Gaines. He has a little bit more to offer, and so I think that would have been him. But best of luck to them. East Pond to the NBA, kind of a no-brainer there. We'll see. No official word on John Fulkerson. Kind of the last one you think may exit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you'll really see anybody else hit the transfer portal. That's probably, everybody who really didn't play this year is kind of gone. So besides Urosh, but he seems to enjoy his role. So, and maybe he's a guy that he was just a sophomore, which this year didn't count, right?
Right.
So he'll still be a sophomore next year, and so you have 3 more years with him to turn him into something. I mean, he was the guy when all else failed. Hey, just put him in.
Right.
They didn't give Corey Walker an opportunity. They stopped giving Anasicki an opportunity, and they just went to Urosh. So, maybe he's able to carve out more of a role next season. Just got to be consistent and be a presence.
Yeah, for sure. And he, obviously he's got the body type, so hopefully he finds a way to be successful. It'd be big for not just him, but Tennessee. So
yeah, I mean, you're 7 foot, play like you're 7 foot.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to hit this before we move on to our segments or questions. Do we have any questions outside the?
Yeah. So, Big Orange Hypel said, "Do y'all think the Legends of Lindsey Nelson made any of the Florida players cry? If so, how many and which ones?"
I mean, there were some that weren't happy with him. Giving turning looks, and I'm not willing to say me and Landon were professional student sectioners in high school, but there were some South Doyle basketball games that got pretty rowdy.
We made a dude cry.
We got into some heads. I mean, we had a Division I prospect, that all-state player that went for like 6 points at a game at South Doyle. And hey, that South Doyle team had some ballers on it, but this dude was a hooper, in the words of God, what's his name from Last Chance U?
The coach.
No, it was the Joe
Hampton.
Joe Hampton. He wasn't a baller. He was a hooper, and he had like 6 points and like 4 rebounds and 2 assists, and he played the whole game. And so I'm not willing to say we're professional student sectioners, but we're professional student sectioners. If you got the guys back looking at you, chirping back at you, whether they're playing good or not, you're in their head. So it just takes one kind of like, negative play to really get them off. And that happened this weekend with Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Legends of Lindsey Nelson being that like student section because, I want to do that, but I'm also kind of too old to take my shirt off and have a funnel.
Yeah. And like, at our age, chirping college baseball players is a little different.
Yeah.
You need college age people to be in there, like individually chirping them.
Yeah. It's either, a college guy or it's an old geezer that has, been there for 25 years. And everybody's like, it's just Uncle Joe up there. He's
we need
3 beers in.
We need a old geezer legends on the third base line.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what we need.
So my dad, we sit right behind the third base dugout, and it's not styrofoam. What is that called? Man, what is that called? Oh my God.
I'm
Velcro.
not
Velcro. Sorry. I wanted to say static. Velcro. So there's like a Velcro strip where like somebody used to sit there and would have the K's for queso. Lined up. Now they have like the board and everything, but he used to like bring his own K's and would do it along the. So Dad's like, yeah, we probably need to get some of those and just keep on doing it.
That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Kind of make your mark a little bit without like heckling the other team.
Yeah, exactly. So the Legends, they do a fantastic job. I love the funnel. I know the Tennessee Athletic Department. I hope Tony Vitello can maybe keep that being allowed because I can see that getting shut down.
Yeah,
but
I love the edgy though.
Yeah. Here, I got something for you. Hold on.
Oh, I'm excited for this. I'm kind of nervous too. Oh, there you go.
Yes.
I heard you change, and I was like, I hope he's not taking his shirt off. I thought we just talked about this, Caleb.
Yeah, see, that's I meant to chime in there. You said, I think I'm too old to take my shirt off. And I was like, this year, guys, last year, before COVID, we were gonna get a patio. We do a patio for a game, go out there with our friends. With the if the Legends of Lindsey Nelson are there, and they're getting fired up, and what Tennessee does to me. I'm not saying his shirt's going to stay on my body. I can't control that. If I'm out there in the outfield, and I can't promise the shirt's going to stay on. All right.
I'll do the next. If we beat Rocker and Lighter this weekend, I'll do a show shirtless.
Okay, I'm not against it. Dude, just that final. I don't know when the shirts came off, but when I noticed them was that final at bat, and they're just waving in the. I loved it. It was electric.
Yeah, and Kirby Connell loved it too.
Kirby Connell was eating it up. He was feeding off that energy. I think he keeps a little pine tar in the mustache.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Little Trevor Bauer action.
Dude, that man's got the swag, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's
got it. Whatever it is, he's got it.
Exactly. And Chris mentioned, because we're gonna after the show, so here soon, me and Lane are about to talk some ideas. Chris asked, "Did we ever post game tailgated?" Oh, we've done some post game tailgating.
Oh yeah, we have.
We've done it. Unfortunately, not a lot because Tennessee lately, especially, I do not post game tailgate after losses.
No, that's not fun.
Because it's just miserable. You just sit there and sulk. I'd just rather go home and sulk.
Right. Be alone.
Yeah. But yeah, post-game tailgating after wins, yes, 100%. No doubt.
Yeah, because during the day, you're getting a little nervous, getting the butterflies. It's over. You've won, and you're just letting it hang out. You're taking your shirt off. Not at the game, but you can take your shirt off at the post game tailgate. It's acceptable. We allow it.
It's also better to post game tailgate with TVs. So if we get if we figure out a way to get the RV, hopefully got a TV. So
there you go, Chris. You got an RV we can rent or borrow.
The Winnebago up here.
We can rent for free.
For free. Lease it for free. Yeah, no, that we'll see what we can do. Okay, any other questions?
No, but I was talking about tailgating last night with some guys, and man, I can't wait to be tailgating this fall. I don't care how bad we are. I can't wait to tailgate.
I don't either, honestly. And
because being bad and not being able to tailgate sucks.
Right.
Like it was trash. This year sucked.
It made football season tough. Like I said, my level of caring was like on a downward spiral.
Yep.
This show, you guys kept me alive. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, let's get into most important of the week.
Most important.
I'll lead us off.
Okay.
Hideki Matsuyama, first Japanese golfer, first Asian golfer, I believe, to win the Masters. Awesome event. Congratulations. I mean, just I know a lot of people get pissed. Like they'll say to people, "You don't even watch golf until it's Masters week." I think that's like what makes it special. Like you don't get mad at people for only showing up to the Super Bowl party. Like it's what makes those games like the tradition around those games fun. You don't get mad at people that only go to the Alabama game, the Tennessee Alabama game. You're like, no, we won 102,455 tailgating at the game. Like that's what makes that kind of stuff fun. So for me, I'm like that's what makes it, to me, that's what makes it special. People who normally don't care about the game, they take off work. I think that's good. And then I couldn't figure out his caddy's name, but awesome moment on the 18. He puts the pin back in and bows to the course. It's just like that's an awesome any sport moment. If you had a baseball player come out after hitting a walk-off home run and bowed to the field, that's an awesome sports moment.
Respect the course.
Yeah, exactly. Respect the course.
I like it. My first one is the NFL to pass or relax on the jersey number restrictions.
Yes, that's gonna be awesome.
I think it'd be cool too. I mean,
I think it's
does it affect the game? No, but the fact that like a wide receiver can't wear anything under 10 is so dumb.
So I get the jersey restrictions, like the linemen and eligible players. Like I get that. I don't. Is there a reason that they weren't, or is it just like this is what we do?
Yeah, I think it's one of those like stupid rules that they just pulled out of their butt because they
made a really long time ago, and they just like weren't like
they probably didn't have anything else to vote on that year, so they just had to do something to get their paycheck. So they did that.
Right. For sure. I don't think I have any more most important. Let me scroll back a little bit, but I think that's it for me.
I have one more. Did you see this? I didn't read the article. I meant to read it and I forgot. But anyway, a homeless man reportedly spent time at USC football facility, ate with players, and was only caught while trying to catch punts at practice.
Yes, I did read about this. I did read that article actually. I want to see the picture of the guy because I want to know because you say homeless, and I feel like everyone what are you picturing? Like classic movie homeless guy, like beaten clothes, limping, that kind of homeless guy. I feel like he had to be a younger, college age, somewhat clean cut dude, right?
Yeah, he wasn't like a beggar. There's no
right, right. So like, still an amazing story. The fact that he was just able to hang out, and they were like, oh, you're here today. And it's probably the equipment guy that's like he wants to act like he remembers his name. He don't want to be that guy that's what's your name again? So he's like, yeah, come on in and get your stuff and go to the practice field.
And he was I just love how no one thought to say anything until he was catching punts, and they're like, who the hell is that guy?
He was apparently eating dinner with him.
Yeah.
And I
want to know what his story was. What was he telling people when they're like, hey, who are you?
And how far does it go if he was decent at football?
Yeah, do you
how
just
far does the story go?
Do you let him be a walk-on now?
Exactly. You're like, He was catching punts pretty good today, guys. I mean,
he basically just had a tryout. That's all it was.
Exactly. So what's funny too is apparently he's had issues like this before. Apparently he's been written a notice for trespassing at like the soccer field. So maybe he's just like, maybe it's like what's that movie with Amanda Bonds?
She's the man.
She's the man. Maybe it's like that. He's just trying his hand in different things.
Maybe. That's actually a funny movie.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm willing to say it. I enjoyed it. I'll say that.
I mean, when she gets like hit in her private area, and she's like, like, ooh, and she's like, oh yeah, oh, for the love of God.
Dude, did you see? Speaking of that, did you see that UFC fighter take a shot to the nuts? It was the loudest like clack I've ever seen in my entire life.
Ugh. I don't like how you said that.
You know what I'm talking about, though. Like,
I do know someone
that clack. It's awful. And someone was like, "Was that his cup? Was that the sound it made because he didn't have a cup there?" Like, because I mean, that's gonna hurt even if you have a cup on the way you got kicked.
Yeah, you took a foot slap to the nuts.
Foot slap dick.
God, don't you miss Jason Brown?
Oh Lord, I'm so. Yeah. You know he has a daughter who's like TikTok famous, right?
No, I'm not. I'm shocked. 0%.
Okay, I think I don't think I have any more most important. I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I think that's all I got also.
Fail of the week.
Fail of the week.
I got one. I got one. It's NASCAR drivers, Gray Galding and Joe Graff, I think. After the race today, I think were battling for like 20th-ish position. After the race, they got into a full scuffle.
Nice.
In the pit area. And like, you know how normally NASCAR drivers, their pit crews are there, so they normally don't actually get a hold of each other. These dudes were like rolling around. Like, they got
nice.
I don't know how exactly got to that point, but I just love it because like, yeah, they were probably fighting about something that happened way early in the race, more than likely. But it's such a bad look because like, you weren't even close to winning.
No.
and you get off and you're throwing punches mad at a guy.
And like, I don't watch NASCAR, but I don't know either one of those two. So maybe it's a publicity stunt.
Good point. I'd had to look up their names.
I mean, that's not that can be. It had to cross their mind.
They're out here getting clicks.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you hit me in the face, no face shots, body shots only. That's why they're wrestling.
Yeah, we just roll around on the ground for a couple minutes. We get our name out there. People start buying merchandise and stuff because we fight. It's like the guy at the Ice Bears. Like no one. The only person anybody knows is the guy who fights every week.
Exactly.
So,
good point. I like it. That's a great point.
I mean, these guys are just smart in my book.
Right. I'm with it. So most important of the week. Sorry, I should have changed it. Good point, Landon.
My next one is Mike Farrell at Rivals. He put his five SEC breakout candidates.
Oh.
None of those were Jalen Hyatt.
Oh, so you're taking like a personal shot here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna clip this for freezing cold takes just in case.
Yeah, I mean you had a perfect opportunity and you just whiffed.
Well, I'm gonna clip it though. You're gonna get reversed on this because
let's go.
I hope you
and Mike, let's get it.
I hope you don't get reversed on this, but I gotta put it out there just in case.
I mean, they put a freaking Kentucky safety on here. I feel confident in Jalen Hyatt.
Fair. Do you have any more fills?
Yeah, he also put a Mississippi State running back. How many times they run the ball?
Yeah, that's interesting to say the least.
I'm just
very interesting. Is that your last fill?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. So I do have one more most important before we get out of the show. Forgot this one. I'm sure everybody's seen it and actually had another part to the story today. Some father and son duo who are Phillies fans, they caught a Freddie Freeman home run this weekend. It looks like it was Friday day. And there was a younger Braves fan sitting near them. and they gave the Freddie Freeman home run to him, the home
Saw
run ball
that.
to him.
That's really cool.
It was cool. And like the kid, the picture that someone got, like captured it. The kid looked the Phillies kid. You can't see the Braves kid's face. The Phillies fan looks so happy to give this to him, like the biggest smile on his face. So it's a super cool moment. And then today, Freddie Freeman actually met up with the father and son during batting practice.
Okay.
Yeah, so they got a Freddie Freeman signed ball, or I guess it was signed. They got a ball from Freddie Freeman, and just a cool moment.
Yeah, and you're not even a fan of the
Right.
Braves. You're like, I hate Freddie Freeman. Now he's probably your favorite player now.
Right.
All they did was convert him. They converted the father and son.
Exactly. What do you think about the Braves? Those like throwback jerseys.
Oh, I love them.
You love them? I can't decide. I love the hat. I love the throwback hat.
Yeah, the
I
A.
love that uniform. I cannot decide how I feel about the jersey.
So Braves
The
have some
uniform, I should say.
interest. Like they have some that are kind of weird, but they have some that I really like.
It's not the color. It's more like the design of it that I'm not
Not a huge fan.
a huge fan of. And it's the one that they've worn this weekend with the Phillies. It's just, I don't know. It looks, I can't put my like finger on it while I'm not crazy about it. It's something about it.
Those St. Louis Cardinals baby blue ones.
Yeah.
Those are
Dude, they're sexy. I do, and I like the colors of their throwbacks. I think that blue, that light blue looks really good.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, something about it. I don't know. Okay, anything else for fail most important of the week? Throw out there.
I'm good, man.
Guys, it's been a fun one. Love talking ball baseball. I want to keep talking about it. Maybe we'll be talking about it in the fall, like we do spring football. That's where I think that's where we're headed.
Just keep like year round. Just keep it going.
Yeah, it's going to be just pretty much just fall baseball.
Just
all the time.
AAU.
Yeah, exactly. Show up all the time, every weekend. Guys, it's been fun. We'll be back on Wednesday, prepping for Vanderbilt. It's Tony Vitello and company welcome them to town. Should be another exciting series. Of course, we'll talk football, maybe some more basketball news by then. And we'll be recapping their game of Western Carolina on Tuesday night too.
Yeah, keep the celebration going. It's always a good weekend when you're able to knock off a team like Florida. And, man, y'all have a great week. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.